we have a lot to accomplish today. Good morning, friends. If I sound sick, it is because I am on the very tail end of recovering from the flu. I apologize in advance if I sound a little bit different. I'm still getting my voice back. What I'm out here doing today is installing a Florida weave in between all of my tomato plants, among other things that we've got to get accomplished today. Now, this particular method with the one individual string, I mean, it's really tight still, and it's definitely working. All of my tomato plants are standing up. I'm just a little bit worried as the plants continue to mature that it may not be enough. So that's why I'm going to start doing the Florida weave method. Every time I come out here with my tomato plants, I'm just looking around and thinking it's only a matter of time before you're going to be out here harvesting so many tomatoes. Make the first one, I'm trying to see like kind of where the line's up. I'm going to start down about 3 or 4 inches from the ground. Make sure you tie up very good and tight, of course. Now, if you are new here, this is the first time I've done a tomato garden like this. I did a huge garden last year, of course, and that was about 50 tomato plants. The tomato plants were all over the place. They were in buckets and cattle panel trellises, all different types of things. And when I would come out with my family to harvest, it just kind of made things a lot more complicated. It was our first go at trying to come out and harvest and then, you know, make tomato sauce and can things and stuff like that. And I just decided that I wanted things to be a little bit more straightforward and efficient. So that's why I'm doing everything in this one particular tomato bed. So it's 40 different tomato plants. The rows are about 24 feet long. There's roughly about 10 tomato plants per row. So it's a decent spacing. So I'm just gonna pull off a bunch of a string, and instead of actually working with that box, those plants are just very mature, so I need to be able to like get in and out of them, and that box is kind of in the way. I'm just working from T-post to T-post, which is about 8 feet in all. I'm gonna wrap this up really quick. Make my own little spool of twine. Might have made this a little bit too long, but it's okay. Outside. Some of these definitely need more support than others. I think the hardest part is just remembering like which one was on the in and out as you're doing it. You're just gonna wrap it around that other T-post or whatever post that you are using. Pull it as tight as you can, and then you're gonna wrap the twine the opposite way, so that the twine now is running on both sides of the plant. Okay. It's not very tight right now because I still gotta tie it off. This string is really good though. I am enjoying how easy this string is to work with. The other string I bought and I used for all of these, it was really silky and hard to just work with, honestly, and hard to tie up. And I was like, why is like the hardest part of this whole project tying things up? You know, it was just way too smooth and it wouldn't really hold a knot very easily, so I had to knot things 100 times. But this string, it's almost like it has like some grit to it, so it's a lot easier to work with. So I'm gonna go up a bit higher now because I want some more structure, and these plants are pretty tall. Probably gonna do a total of 3 rows of the Florida weave on each of these mature plants today. And then as they get, you know, bigger and bigger, just come out here and do more. So it is nice because it's kind of like a continual project. And what would be perfect for the Florida weave would be any other type of trellising crop, like cucumbers would be awesome for this. You know, they don't need a very in-depth system to trellis up. beans, I mean really anything that doesn't have a significant amount of weight. I wouldn't do this for like pumpkins or watermelon if you're trying to trellis those types of more kind of like advanced trellising crops. But this would be perfect for any of your lightweight type crops that need additional support. Okay, on the other side. No, I'm getting my string all knotted up. Okay, got it. Gosh, am I doing this right? Did I miss a thingy? This way, and then I need to go back this way. Okay. This is where it gets a little complicated. So I don't know why it's called the Florida weave or not some other kind of weave. Probably whoever first came up with this was in Florida, I don't know. We do grow a lot of tomatoes here in Florida, so for some reason this bamboo stick just never wanted to stick in. All of the other ones would. So this plant's always just like toppling over because the bamboo stick that's holding it in the ground is always popping out. Which is another good reason to do the Florida weave, because you're giving it all this additional structure. I have a whole lot more of these to do. I'm not going to film them today because it'd probably get a little boring. You want to make sure they're really tight before tying them off. I think it's just what these tomato plants needed. What's in the box? It's a whole bunch of cardboard. Now, this could either be the biggest, silliest waste of money, or it could be actually a really good idea. So I got this idea from another like no-dig or no-till gardener, and they do like long rows of cardboard, and it looked like they were buying it in these rolls. Now theirs was much bigger. I got this on Amazon. I am fully aware of how easy it is to come by cardboard and how you can get it for free and all that different type of stuff. Now with my entire garden to date, this huge garden, everything we've ever done, I have always just done like free cardboard that we've saved. And still, I always save my cardboard. I still will. Always. The reason I wanted to buy this is because I figured it would be perfect. It'd make my life a little bit easier for these super long rows. Now we don't use any type of weed fabrics, any type of garden fabrics. Of course we don't use pesticides. We don't do anything like that. This is my way of buying some type of garden fabric and making my life a little bit easier. So what we do is we do cardboard followed by mulch, and then that in turn decomposes over time. It further suffocates those weeds. We're not tilling up or disturbing the soil to bring any type of unsavory seeds up to the soil. And then we're also really enhancing the microorganisms and the entire environment that's going on beyond the soil. So we're creating a biodiverse environment, which is really, really important for a regenerative and long sustaining garden practices. Anyways, we typically will use like Amazon boxes or whatever kind of boxes that we have purchased, and I just set them aside, I break them down. And some of those boxes, of course, have a ton of the tape on it, and it's okay to, you know, I rip that off before I put it in the garden, which is totally fine. But it's a lot of work, and you got to kind of commit some time to making sure that you're ripping that off. I definitely wouldn't put some of those tapes in the garden with those glues. So this just makes my life a lot easier because there is nothing like that on here. There's no dyes on here previously. It's actually not very heavy. Hey, as a bonus, I got more free cardboard. Oh no, my water. All right, chaos has ensued. I threw my cardboard over there, that box, knocked my water over. There's ants all over my coffee. I feel like I'm wheeling around a big thing of cheese. As you can see, I'm not even gonna pull the weeds here. I'm just gonna put this cardboard down, and then I'm going to put more mulch on top of that. To me, it's a much less tedious task to dump wheelbarrowfuls of mulch like literally once or twice a season than to constantly get out here and on my hands and knees and pull 100 weeds. Now I wasn't sure which size, like width-wise, to purchase for this project. This is a 12-inch width. Yes, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I'll include the exact product below if you're interested. This is kind of fun to do. Definitely some areas of my garden that tend to get more weeds growing in despite putting mulch on it than other areas. There's some areas that just respond really well to mulch and it's not a problem for a while. I mean, there's some areas that's like, no. So that's why I'm gonna put this down in any of those type of problem areas. I'm gonna go ahead and get some mulch over the top of that particular row and then move on to the corn. That's done. Yay. Okay, so I'm gonna do the other 2 rows on a different day. The way that I like to break up some of those more heavy labor projects is I'll come out and I'll do like one on a day and then the next day and then the next day, because it is a lot of work to maintain this whole garden and some of those things are just a lot to accomplish in one day. So I'm going to do those on another day. That way it's not just a whole bunch of mulching. And the biggest thing I really wanted to do today with the time I have left is get this corn bed going, because I don't want to miss the window for growing corn. Before I forget, we did install the cattle panel tunnel that I was talking about in one of my previous videos. So it's different than one of our other cattle panel just arches. That's a single, and this is just 2 cattle panel arches just back to back. Very, very simple. This time we only needed 4 T-posts for the double tunnel. So in all the other cattle panel arches, I mean, I was new to all of this. I didn't realize that you don't need 4 T-posts per cattle panel arch. So that was a learning lesson. And these are just 5-foot T-posts. So they're gonna be super easy to get out of the ground if we wanna change this and move this around. That's what I really love about the cattle panel arches, is that they're really, really flexible, but they could not be sturdier as far as a structure. So I planted the Cinderella pumpkins, which are down here, and they're doing so fantastically. I think they're going to really thrive because we have this beautiful spiderwort bush right behind it. Now, I love the spiderwort flowers. I didn't even really know about them until I moved to this property, but now we just try to let as many of them thrive as possible because the bees are obsessed with them and they look like grass. I feel like it's just a really seamless thing to allow to grow wild all through your property. So this is a really mature spiderwort bush, and anytime I walk out here, it sounds like there's like a whole beehive just humming around this whole flower area. I'm trying not to get stung. With it being that close to the Cinderella pumpkins, of course, naturally they're gonna meander over to the pumpkin flowers rather quickly, and hopefully we'll have this completely covered with pumpkins, because then I can sit under here when it's really hot out and, you know, get a little bit of a break from the sun. That's kind of what the goal of this particular arch is. That's why we did a tunnel instead of just a single. It might start raining, I don't know. But we have this big open space right here. I'm going to do 10 feet by 10 feet of corn very close together. That way we can maximize the pollination between the corn. I'm no corn growing expert. I hope to be maybe after the season in years to come. This is like my first real go with trying to make sure I have like a lot of corn and not just like a handful of corn in one bed. This is my little place marker, just making a little divot in the mulch. It doesn't need to be perfect and exact anyways, but I just wanted to kind of make sure I had at least 10 feet by 10 feet. And by measuring this out, I'm realizing that that's actually a lot bigger than I had in mind. We'll make it work. I've got my work cut out for me. If you're new here, this is my mushroom compost pile. We purchased it in bulk, and then that particular place that I used to purchase the mushroom compost in bulk actually went out of business. So this is the last year we can use this amazing product, which is why I have to start building like a compost bin and making our own compost, because there are certain other people do sell compost in bulk. It's just I'm super picky about where I get my compost from. I would just rather start making it myself. But we do have this very large pile of compost right now, and it's still a lot cheaper than going to the big box stores. If you're going to garden on this level, it would not be cost effective to get bags of soil from the store. So I don't know a lot about growing corn. What I do know is it does not need a significant amount of soil for their root systems. In fact, that's probably one of the main issues with corn, is that they're really susceptible to blowing over because they have such shallow roots. So I'm going to put probably about 9 wheelbarrows full down just to barely cover the soil, and that mulch is also going to act as soil as well, because underneath that mulch it's already been breaking down and turning into compost as well. So there is further soil down there, and this should be adequate to help feed this corn. Holy cow. I think it's safe to say I have gotten my workout done for the day. Now for the easy part, the enjoyable part. Let's sow those corn seeds. Yesterday I went out to one of the big box stores and I got 2 different types of corn seeds. I don't have a lot of experience growing corn, so I don't know here. And they're both sweet corns. They're not other types of corns. That's what it is. I got the candy corn hybrid, and then I also got the peaches and cream hybrid. This one is 83 days to from seed to harvest, and this one is 89 days, just a little bit longer from seed to harvest. I mean, honestly, whenever I see that, the variable really depends on your climate and how ideal those conditions are. It's never going to be like it's day 83 and this is exactly done, like something in the oven and the timer's going off. That's not necessarily how it works. So I'd be interested to see how quickly this grows. And there's a bunny over there. Oh my gosh, that bunny is going to try to hop over here and eat my stuff. Well, that's what I have to look forward to combating pretty soon. is bunnies. They always, I don't know why, like they're always right there. I mean, I do know why. It's super safe and protected, but you would think we'd have more of a problem with them trying to eat the produce. I actually don't. Most of the things in the big in-ground beds are, they're like tall things. And then the things that the bunnies would eat more of are in like the raised beds. Anyways, let's get back to the corn. I'm starting out with the peaches and cream hybrid just because I like that tricolor. I feel like it tastes really good. I'll probably actually need both seed packets, we'll see. But there's probably about 20, 30 in here. You're gonna wanna plant these about 1.5 inches into the soil. I'm glad I got the 2 seed packets. Now that could be an issue with cross-pollination and everything. I mean, I guess I could just end up making a weird variety of corn, worst comes to worst. That's the whole thing about gardening. You don't have to be an expert and know what you're doing about everything right away. I certainly am not. I didn't know what to expect, but I'm not kidding. I really do think I'm gonna need more corn seeds. And this is kind of with some generous spacing. At least the hard part's done. The plot has been created, and all that's left to do would just be to go back to the store and get more corn seeds. So, not too bad. Just gonna do this instead. All we have to do is just put the soil over it. For now, I'm just gonna mark with a stick where these rows are gonna be. That way I don't get it confused and start getting all uneven or cross paths. All right, so in all, that was 6 rows of corn, if I'm doing this correctly. And that was with 2 seed packets. So it was roughly about 30 seeds, I would say, per seed packet. So 60 things of corn or seeds of corn are in the ground. And then this could probably fit 4 more rows, 4 or 5 more rows, I would say. So in all, we'll have a really good amount of corn if everything works out, fingers crossed. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and getting some of that work done and starting the Florida weed with me. I so appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed this video, definitely be sure to give it a like. That helps me so much. Consider subscribing if you want to see more, if you want to see this relatively new homesteader figure out how to homestead. Thank you guys for watching again, and I will see you next week. Bye.